Welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you for having me.
Lucas, it was a wonderful film. You were the only normal person in the film.
Thank you again.
So, the film that we're talking about is Manchester by the Sea, and this is a film written and directed by Kenneth Lonergan? Lonergan, whom you have known for a very long time. Yes. So how did you get attached to this film?
So quickly, before I talk about how I got attached, I met Kenny in a stroller going in my hometown neighborhood of Brooklyn, or Cobble Hill. My dad was walking me down the street in a stroller, and Kenny, and they've known each other for like 25 years. They were playwrights in the same circle in the city when they were in their 20s. And I met Kenny as like a 2-year-old. And then cut to, I guess, 16 years later, I am auditioning for his movie. And I auditioned 5 times. The last time I was convinced I hadn't gotten it. And we were taking the train back from Massachusetts to New York. We were on the same train, and I was like so down on myself. And he approached me and said he wanted to cast me. And I was actually with my dad on the train. We were both there, so it was the 3 of us together again 16 years later.
Why was it that you were hesitant? Don't look at the questions.
Oh, okay.
Why was it that you were hesitant and you thought that you wouldn't get the part? Because you've acted in films, you've acted in a bunch of films, and you've also acted as the other guy in, which film I'm talking about.
Moonrise Kingdom? Okay. So... yeah. So the night before, Kenny called me on the phone and said, "Look, man, just so you know, if it doesn't go your way, totally fine. We'll do another one together." And I was sort of I was thinking like, okay, because I knew he had seen the other kid, the other kid they were looking at that day, and I was like, oh, the kid probably nailed it. He's just gonna bring me in, like, just to be sure he wants to do the other kid. And I was like, ugh, this is terrible. I still have to go up there. But I went up. I called my friends, my dad's friend who consults me on a lot of just how I can approach these kind of situations with specific a specific intention, and how I can grow from these auditions, because it's ultimately for me. It's not, I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm growing my craft. And so I went up there with my intention of how I was going to grow and the risks I was going to take, and I had a really great work session. And then on the way back, they were like, "Kenny, take the car with Lucas to the airport." And he was like, "Oh, sure, yeah, I'll see you in a bit." And then he ended up getting in another car, and I was like, "Oh, he can't talk to me, because what does he have to say to me? I'm not going to be in his movie." And it seemed like he was avoiding me, but it turns out he was just telling people that he was going to cast me before he told me. So that's why I thought that.
You know, you've heard of insecurity that actors have, but somebody like you who has acted and whose father is also a writer and director, the fact that you have that kind of insecurity, do you think you could diminish that? Because now that you've worked in Manchester by the Sea and you have proven that you can act, how do you think you'd handle that? Because you're young and you're in a school still, and you're going to get more opportunities. Would being insecure before or while you're auditioning kind of cripple your chances for getting a role?
I think that any kind of self-doubt at any point, really outside of acting, at any point in life, is purely detrimental. Like, the only thing worth feeling before working on anything is self-love. And I've struggled with self-doubt my entire life, like most people. And I find that the only thing that can really prevent that kind of behavior and those kind of thoughts is just practicing gratitude and self-love. I'm not Jewish, but I'm staying with friends right now who are, and I went to Yom Kippur service last night and this morning, and it was incredibly profound because I've just spent the last night and this morning in prayer, and so I guess my answer to this is that this actor insecurity. It's not something that working can cure. It's just it's something that almost like a spiritual practice can help alleviate. And it's this kind of thing that I'm doing now, whether it's prayer or just meditation, that I want to take with me into my next project, and to help me be more confident and more self-loving and less insecure, because that is something I've struggled with for a long time. Yeah.
Interestingly, both your grandparents are involved in the church, aren't they?
My grandfather, my dad's father, was a minister, and my great-grandfather was like the head of the Baptist World Alliance, and traveled across all over America, and that's on both sides. But I was not raised religious at all. The neighborhood that I come from and the school that I went to is kind of a hippie school where religion is almost, I wouldn't say shunned, but no one is religious, and it's almost laughable to have a faith, which is a whole nother discussion.
You bagged the role, and then you had to rehearse with Kenny and the crew for the film. What was it like actually when the camera was rolling? Because Kenneth Lonergan, really hasn't directed many films. This, I believe, is his third film. He himself was nervous from what I read in the production notes and elsewhere. What was it like on the set working with Casey Affleck and others, and also with Anna Baryshnikov?
Well, Kenny you're right, he's only done 2 films, but he has spent a lifetime observing behavior. And that's Kenny's specialty, is a hypersensitivity towards, and it's almost like you don't know it when you're with him, but he's picking up on literally every single thing that's going on in the room, why that moment was awkward, and why it, what the psychology of it might have been.
So he's finely tuned.
He's one of the smartest people I've ever met, and he's developed an ear and an eye for the truth. And so it's that kind of thing, that kind of knowledge that he doesn't need to have made 40 films. He's been living his life and studying life for 50 some years, and it's that knowledge that he brought to the film set. Casey too. Casey's the same way. So I never for a second felt like I was on the set of a young filmmaker or somebody who doesn't have much experience. It's almost like Kenny's been working for 200 years. He's a different kind of creative force from most people we see nowadays. I talked to him a lot about his greatest influences, and he grew up in a time period of the 70s where some of the greatest films, American films ever, were being made, and he wasn't watching those films. He was watching the films that were made in the 30s. He's a very interesting guy in that he's from another time period. He's from the time period before the last time period. It's very strange.
So you're talking about maybe he's a big fan of Scott Fitzgerald and the Jazz Age, because you said the 1930s. So that's the silent film. Have you watched any silent films?
Yes, I have. I've watched. I'm a huge Charlie Chaplin fan. City Lights, Gold Rush, some Buster Keaton, The General. I love. So I have watched silent film, and I'm a huge fan of just classic American and European cinema, I guess. Yeah.
And also Riz Ahmed, huh?
Oh yeah, huge fan. Very jealous of Rizzo. No, I'm not. I'm very impressed by him. I saw The Night of and was really blown away.
What about working with Anna Baryshnikov? She's Mikhail Baryshnikov's daughter, and she acts as one of your love interests.
Yes. So it was amazing. Actually, I developed a very genuine crush on her over the course of the filming, and I asked her to go to prom with me. And
Did she?
she didn't, because she's like 5 years older than me. And she decided that it would probably be pretty weird if like a 23-year-old showed up to a 18-year-old's prom, although she looks like she could be 17. Yeah, so yeah, I guess you could say it wasn't. It was a great pleasure to work with her, and she trained to be an actress at Northwestern, where a lot of my friends trained, and we have a bunch of mutual friends, and we're from similar parts of New York, and it was generally a very exciting thing for me to work with.
So you developed a crush. So is the chemistry real that we see in the film?
Yes, possibly. Although I think I might have just been too nervous to. I was very nervous filming those scenes. I think I did a good job of covering it up, but I was very nervous.
No, the nervousness didn't come through at all.
Good.
So let's quickly switch to. You are studying in the same school as your dad, North Carolina School of the Arts. Why did you choose to go back to your dad's school?
So I chose to go back to my dad's school because, first of all, I've heard about it my entire life. I never thought in a million years that I would end up there. I did a theater program the summer of my junior year in which one of my teachers went to that school, and we did mask work. And mask work is not something that film actors ever get to do. It's the work of putting on masks and developing characters or having characters appear from the, I guess you derive your character from the mask that you're given. And I found a sense of freedom and playfulness in this kind of theater work that I hadn't found in film. And I thought that if I could go to school for it and rediscover my sense of playfulness, my almost childishness, I wouldn't say childish, but youthfulness, innocence, I could then bring that kind of freedom and to film, because it's not something that you can explore on a film set. It's something that you can do in theater, but and then once having had those experiences, you can bring to film. But I knew that if I wanted to be a great actor, I would have to train, and I didn't want to sit around auditioning every once in a while, waiting for people to hire me. I just wanted to work. So, and I found going to this school more so than any other school, I found a piece of myself and a piece of my child, my clown.
You worked with Martin McDonagh.
Yes.
Have you seen his film Bruges?
Yes, I have, in Bruges. Amazing movie, and I'm obsessed with his plays. He's one of my favorite playwrights, and I've seen in Bruges. I think one thing that Martin does better than most anyone is he marries humor, and he has a brilliant mix of dark comedy and drama and tragedy. It's deeply human, which allows for the bloody moments to exist. So I did 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri this summer I played Frances McDormand's son. And I was fresh off of my first year at school, which was crazy because I'd spent an entire year doing theater with it like almost in a bubble in North Carolina. And then I was just all of a sudden on this film set with my heroes. And it was an amazing experience working with France. And Martin is one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life, which is not what I would have expected, because his movies, I was expecting almost a Quentin Tarantino type of a character, but he is so not his movies. He's so kind.
Well read.
And yeah, exactly. But it was an amazing experience, and We filmed it in this beautiful part of Asheville in North Carolina, yeah. And I'm really excited to see it. Yeah, I'm curious how it turned out.
I hear that when you were studying in school in your free time, you and your friends play Harry Potter movies.
Yes, we do. We did a Harry Potter weekly. We showed. We have a projector in my room, and we did a weekly screening of Harry Potter. Which really helped me get through the first semester, because Harry Potter is like, I mean, there's no greater piece of nostalgia than the early Harry Potter movies for me. I grew up dreaming of Harry Potter. Like, all I wanted to do was be a part of that world. Yeah, I love Harry Potter so much. I hope to one day work with somebody from those films. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because you're in North Carolina, I understand you're also learning how to play the banjo.
I am. Yeah, I am learning how to play the banjo. I just want to learn how to play an instrument because I find that there are so many times in my life where I want some sort of emotional release. I have so much going on inside of me, and I don't know how to get it out. And I figured learning an instrument would be the best way to listen to myself. And I thought about a lot of instruments. I didn't really want to play guitar because everyone plays guitar. And then I didn't want to play piano because I tried to play the piano in the past. And then I just thought, why not play the banjo? And so I started playing, and I got a teacher, and it's been amazing. I've fallen off of it recently, and I really want to get back into it. But yeah, I'm loving playing the banjo, yeah.
So are you listening to Earl Scruggs tapes or LPs?
No, I actually haven't listened to much Earl Scruggs, but I have been listening to Bella Fleck. A guy named Ben Solé is great. Maybe it's Soleil. Yeah, but my appeal to the banjo is almost like I don't listen to the banjo that much. I love its sound. But I'm interested in almost discovering what it is for myself. I don't really know what it is to the world. I know some of it, but I want to sort of allow it just to be what it is for me.
I hear that your father used to say, have a good day, have a great day. And somewhere along the way he changed and say, have the day you have.
Yes. Wait, what is this? Is this from, is this an interview you read with him? What is this? Yes. Okay. My dad has been saying that to me for years.
What does that mean? The day you have?
It means surrender. It means don't put any pressure on yourself to have a great day. Have the day you have and let it be the day you have. Don't try to be somewhere else. Just be where you are. And I think he used that in the Odd Life of Timothy Green. But my mom, I think, says have a good day to me sometimes, and then I hear my dad call out, have the day you have, like, no pressure, just surrender to the universe.
Lucas, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.